Okay. I think that we're good. If anyone can chat and let us know if you can see us, some thumbs up, and you can hear us, which is yes, the most important part. That'll be great. Okay, yeah, some people is just joining us and saying hi. So I guess, yes. Thank you, Texas. Well, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but thanks for letting us know that it's working. Yeah, it's been a while since the last interview we did, and we're trying to stream on Facebook, Instagram, recording the interview at the same time. So it's a little bit challenging, but we'll get there. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. As you know, this is part of the interview series that we have been conducting in the past. I think it was pre-COVID last time we did it. So it's very exciting for us to be back here with you all, and even more exciting to count with one of our former participants now, but a member of the Architect US family, not from the very beginning, but like since 2017. So yeah, 3.5 years already. It's incredible. So please let me introduce you to Paula Hernandez. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Thank you so much for being here with us. You are in New York somewhere, I guess, working from home, or are you in the office?
Currently working from home. No, I'm at home. I'm working from home. Yeah, remote.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna imagine. Well, we'll go there, but please let me just first briefly introduce you to her. As I said, she was part of the Job Plus J1 program that we launched in 2016, I believe. And she was fresh out of school when she joined Architect US, but that was not an issue for her. And I think that has been the milestone for her entire career. Like, she has an incredible career to date, even though she's pretty young. And she joined Handel Architects thanks to the program back in 2017 in New York. But besides that, she has got, you have to tell us, but she has been working in many other places around the world. So I think when we chose her for this first interview, it was because, I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about the value of fighting for your dreams. I've been always advocate myself, you know, to be resilient and strong and always follow your heart and what you are really interested in. And I think that Paula, I don't know what I call you, Paula. Paula had that kind of energy and instinct. And so her story is very inspiring. And that's the reason why we have her here. So I would like you to, well, briefly tell us a little bit about your story. Like, did you always know that you wanted to be an architect? You are one of those that since you were a little girl, you knew, or?
Yeah, I could say yes. It's something vocational, but yeah, probably yes. I didn't have any doubt about it.
So it's very vocational that you wanted to become. Okay, so but yeah. How was your childhood in that regard? I mean, were you always picking up, you know, plays that were about building things, putting things together, or drawing? How actually you led to the profession, if it was always something that was in your mind?
I could say that I love to paint, and I love drawing and so on. So probably it came from there. And also after a visit with my family to Barcelona when I was 7 years old, and I saw the Sagrada Familia, and I fell in love with all the architecture of Gaudí and so on. And from there, I guess I decided to
so back in when you were 7 years old, that's funny, because I only became really in love with architecture almost when I was already 18, at the end of the high school. So that's why I'm always super interested in learning more about, you know, the people that architecture has been in their lives for forever. But I can tell that visiting the Sagrada Familia must be very shocking even when you're 7. But do you have a family in the industry as well, or?
No, well, I have cousins,
Okay.
but not.
But it's not like you are the
close.
daughter of an architect.
No.
I see. And who were, besides Gaudí, your main influences when you started, or the people that you have been always looking for, throughout the career?
Throughout the career, I always liked Peter Zumthor, and also Sana. I like them very much. Like all the Japanese architects are very influential for me.
And you never thought of actually moving to Switzerland, because it's always easier, right, for a European, instead of trying to beat the American dream. Switzerland would have been way easier, I guess. You never thought of that?
No, I guess because of the language. I've always I've been always focused on countries where I could speak English, and that would be easier for me to find a job or whatever. And so, no, I haven't thought about Switzerland. I have friends though.
Okay, no, I was just asking because part of your resume is that you did some projects there too, right? In Lausanne, and I think I saw that in your resume.
They were competitions, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very impressive because when you read your resume, you've been all over the place, and I'm not gonna ask you your age, but I know that you're very young, and so I think it's it can be very inspiring for this particular time, for these complex circumstances, because we have unfortunately, many Architect US participants that were willing to make the move to the US, and all of a sudden their plans, their dreams, their projects scramble down. And that's why we decided, okay, we have to be able to resume interviews, talk to all the community in the US that are gonna be like a mirror for all those that would love to, tackle the dream at some point. I think that the change is closer. I mean, the inflection point is getting there. Hopefully in November you have the elections, and hopefully we get a change in that regard, and so we can resume visas and so on. But besides all the bureaucracy, it's more about, the, as I said, the instinct that took you to, knock our door. Because please correct me if I'm right or wrong. I think that we both met in a lecture that I gave in the university, because we both studied at the same university.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was a lecture, and also through people that were already in the program.
Got it.
So it was like connections from different.
I see, but you were really determined. Like, I really want New York, and I also remember they were super fast, right? Like, you couldn't even believe when you got the job that it was really fast for you. But so it was always New York in your mind, or the US, or it was just something that came your way because a friend of a friend just did it? And
it was not specifically New York. It was United States, because my father lived in Boston for 5 years, and he has always talked about that experience being one of the most important in his life. So I wanted to try United States because obviously it's where things somehow starts in terms of technology or
I mean, in softwares they are always at the first line. That's true. And has it been as important experience for you as it was for your dad?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
yeah, because
I guess so.
Tell us a little bit about. Sorry, I'm just jumping because I have many questions I want to ask you to share with the people. So tell us just a little bit about your trajectory, because I know that you were in New York, you finished the program and you left, but then you came back. So tell us a little bit, not only about, I mean, I'm not talking about the program itself, like your career trajectory in general.
So, well, I finished architecture in 2014, and after that, I started a master's in urban studies. And while I was in that master, I was looking for new opportunities when I would be done with the master's. So, I've always wanted to work abroad. That was definitely one of the main things too that I wanted to experience. So while I was in this master's, I found an internship in Albania. That's why I was in Albania. And after that, part of my master's was in Amsterdam. So I've been around the world in terms of trying to find a place where I could get experience. So that would lead me to farther places, maybe. Um, so after finishing the master is when I decided to join the Architect US program in order to make the jump to the other.
But let me just interrupt you, because this might be interesting for the youngest in our community. Like all these moves around Europe, do you find the internship and the program in Amsterdam by yourself, or it was part of your university program? How did you get those opportunities?
Everything was through university.
Got it.
The Albanian experience was through IASTE, which is also a program that finds.
Oh, I love it. It's during the summer, right?
Yeah, it's during the summer.
Yes, yes. It's a really, really, really interesting one. It's only for Europeans, though. Am I correct?
I'm not sure. Probably yes. I think so.
Maybe we can write it down later. So then if there's anyone interested in that program, I think it's a very powerful one.
Sure.
If you're starting your career, yeah, you can write it down. So then they know. Sorry, I cut you off again.
I think it's still going on. So it's, that's very good for a very first experience for 1 month or 2 months. And during summer is perfect.
And it's very hands-on, if I'm correct, right? Like you build like a pavilion as part of the program. I remember when they did it in Madrid, in the university, in our university, that they built this incredible inflatable. I don't know if you were there at the time. It was back in 2015, 2016. I don't know. My God, 5 years ago already. Yeah, but it was super nice. Like it was like the how do you call it? O and U, yeah. Like there were people from all over Europe, you know, very eager to put their hands on building something like physical. And I think it's a great experience, even though it's short. It's only for the summer, like you said, 1 or 2 months. So definitely let's check it out, guys, because that could be a good start if you are thinking of expanding, you know, your network and your horizons professionally wise.
Yes. So the Amsterdam experience was through the masters. It was like an Erasmus program. So it was through the masters that I was allowed to go to Amsterdam.
Okay.
And it was very rewarding.
Yeah, I was just gonna note, as we have people from all over the world, Europeans probably will know, but for those who are not Europeans, it's just like a quick note. The Erasmus is also a European program that probably you might have something similar in your countries, where you're allowed to make 1 year or a semester of your architecture studies abroad, and it's obviously super rewarding and a great experience. It's more academic, it's not professional, but you did your master's, right? Is what you said.
Yeah, I did part of a semesters of mine.
Semesters. Okay, cool. And then it's when you came back to Madrid and when you decided, okay, now it's time to go to the Big Apple and try my best and follow my dad's steps.
Yeah, also by that time it was quite hard to find a job in Europe in general. So the opportunity to go to New York or United States, it was even better because there was not a very good time to find a job here. So and so yeah, I thought that opportunity was the best in terms of starting to work and
I remember the day that I called you to let you know that Handel Architects wanted to hire you, and you were like, but already? I think I didn't even apply to this one, right? Like there was a mistake or something, but somehow we share your portfolio or your credentials, and they fall in love with, you know, your sophistication. I think that your thesis project is really awesome. By the way, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but we are, just so you know, we are serving with the community, and we're trying, I don't know, all the activities, all the actions that we're doing at this time, as we can provide you with visas and a job in the US as of right now, is related to how we can help you in the long run, and like how we can give you or help your exposure in social media that is becoming like the new window to hire people as well, how to promote your work, basically how to push, you know, your professional career in some way. And so we are sharing, I don't know, maybe we didn't share with you this information because I think that, well, maybe, I don't know. We're sharing, we have launched this project that is the Portfolio Challenge. So on every month, we share, I think it's twice a week, people's or community participants' portfolios. And so the rest of the Instagram followers, some of them will be part of the Architect family and some others are just followers, can somehow vote by, I mean, we use their likes as votes. And so, well, the award is more the exposure than the actual Amazon gift card, but still, you also will get an Amazon gift card. So if you want to get some presents out there, because I know that it's incredible as well, the number of competitions that you did, you know, that you are very proactive. Actually, is that something that you will recommend to, you know, not only people that are starting their careers, but in general, as an architect? Do you think that that's part of, or that should be part of our genes? Like, keep yourself, even though you're working for somebody else, active and sharing with the world your own ideas through competitions, collaborations, and so on?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to engage in other things aside from work. Also, I wanted to engage in this kind of competitions because when you are working, sometimes the design doesn't fully depend on you. So it keeps you abreast with new ways of communication and presentation. And I think it's a good training as well. Like,
oh yeah,
gives you value.
It's like a muscle, right? It's almost like going to interviews when you're not really actively looking. I always recommend if someone knocks your door, even though you're super happy at your current, you know, job, not inviting people to be deceitful with their current employers, but just to test yourself, you know, to see where you are in the market, to see how valuable you are for the market, and you know what sort of questions they ask you, how do you react. It's a learning curve, and it's always really good. So definitely competitions is another really great exercise to do. And what would you say, we're about to also launch a survey just to, because I think I'm getting far from all those who are recent graduates already. I mean, I've been practicing architecture for over 15 years already. So probably the needs that I have in my head from when I finished school are completely different. And even for those who are at your time in your professional career, with how many years of professional experience you have, like 3 or 4, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah, 4. So yeah, so they might have shifted and they might be different. So we really want to know, what are your struggles? What are your pains? What are your concerns? What actually drives you? What makes you get up every morning and going to work super happy or completely miserable, you know, and what you are expecting for your profession, especially in these days that everything seems to be so uncertain and everything is changing almost on daily basis. So, but going back to how the scenario was before COVID. What would you say to those who are about to finish school or just finish school and they're gonna face the moment of, oh my God, I have to find a job. I have to put my portfolio together. I have to, do interviews.
Mm.
Is there anything that you would recommend?
Probably not to lose faith. I think in recession times or in bad times is when actually you can prove yourself more, and it's also an opportunity to take to try new things and go farther beyond your limits in terms of striving for the best and don't give up. Yeah, so I would say this is probably one of the difficult moments, as it was the 2018 recession as well.
But I always think that difficult or complex moments, excuse me, oh my God, it's not covered. I already passed it, so it's fine. Yeah, so yeah, complex or uncertain times, I think they are extremely powerful in terms of the opportunity that they open up. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how many youngsters might be right now in their garage thinking of new ways of filling up the gaps that, a situation like the one that we're living is bringing to the table. And that can be related to architecture as well. Like in my personal case, well, someday I will interview myself, so I share with you all my experience. But I finished school also at the recession because I worked before I did my thesis master's. So anyway, there was like a almost 4 or 5 years gap between I finished school, like the bachelor's, and I actually got licensed. Well, finished my thesis. And so I remember that when I finished, everyone was like, okay, Patty, well, now relax. It's gonna take you almost a year to find a job. Forget about working, for a start, because I had worked for Peter Cook in London. It was, an incredible opportunity, milestone in my career. And everyone was so pessimist, so negative. It was like if there was a cloud always, on top of everyone's. And it was like, well, yeah, I have to get ready for this. I know, but at the same time, I had the faith on myself, that faith that you're talking about. I had the faith on my strength and on, what I could offer to, even though I was young, to a studio. And so I remember that I put together the best portfolio I could, make at that time, and printed out. It was already a digital. I mean, we were already pretty digital, even though I'm way older than you guys. But I didn't listen to all those bad recommendations on my opinion, and I printed out and I knocked the door of every single architect that I wanted to work for here in Madrid, because at the time I was back in Madrid. And I went to see Foster, that has an office in Madrid, Dominique Perrault at the time, Herzog and de Meuron, who I ended up working for, all the big names and a small boutique studios that I was interested as well. And I did like 10 interviews, seriously, and I got the job at Herzog and de Meuron, my dream over the dreams, like in, I don't know, well, maybe the time it doesn't really matter, but I think it was a matter of also luck or being at the right place at the right time. But what I'm trying to say is that this is the core of the whole interview, like the value of fighting for your dreams. Like, you can always go, to the end of the list and say, okay, I've tried all this. Well, now this is what it is. I can only do this or get this job or work for this guy I don't like at all or whatever. But you cannot start with that, even though we're living in the worst case scenario, right? And I think that you did something like that. I don't know if you had it in your mind that way, but the fact that you try you know, in the US as well, that as we all know is very, very complicated because of the bureaucracy. It didn't stop you. And I want to know how you actually did manage to stay, because you've been in a very stressful situation in the past months, right?
Yes. Well, in the first place, I came here in 2017, and with your program, I had the J1, and unfortunately, it was only for 1 year. I wish it could be longer, but it's what it is. So what I try to do is not lose any opportunity, and I applied for the H1B visa before I left from the company, not knowing if I could ever come back again. But I think it's very important to set your opportunities before you leave, or before you don't even know if you're gonna get it.
Leave things set up in a way that if things work well, you had everything ready. So you are the one choosing. So it's not the administration or the bureaucracy or USCIS immigration who, you know, kick your ass and put you out of the country. It's like, okay, well, now they approve my visa. Now I decide whether I want to stay or I go. But you did all what you could at the time.
Yeah. So after that, I thought my was ending, like I didn't know what to do. But actually my boyfriend was living in UK, so I thought it was an opportunity to
move that was the UK. Reason. Okay.
That's all there. Yeah. I mean, there are so many reasons, but
it's always a love story behind the stories. I like that.
So
you moved to London, UK, London, right?
Yeah. Okay. I moved when I found a job, but my boyfriend was living up north in Preston. So I was looking for a job, and also another important thing is the contacts and the networking, because it's how I get this second job.
Actually, yeah, tell us about that. How did you get it? Did you get it while you were in New York, or you left, you wrap up, and once you were back, you did it?
No, I already packed. I was in Europe looking for a job, and I found it there. It was not before.
Got it.
And it was, I think it's very important to work very hard in everywhere you are working on, because that could lead good references and good comments about yourself. So
that's a good recommendation. That's a really important one. Even if you work for the most remote office that you think that is not gonna make a difference in your resume, you never know, you know, you never know. And an extra hand might be the key for keep moving at some point. And even if it's only a matter of accumulating good, references, is always good. So that's also important. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but not everyone, we deal on a daily basis when we have to work with the paperwork of participants. Like, I work for this, and I don't have any reference letter. I never asked for this. It's like, that should be the first thing you ask for before you leave, the door, because they are still fond of you. You know, if it was a good relationship, probably they don't want you to go, even though they understand you have to keep going in your career. So, and it was through one of your former bosses?
My colleagues, yeah.
Oh, from Handel Architects.
So, yeah, well, the wife of one of my colleagues, got the contact. So I already knew that KPF was looking for a person in London, so I contacted him for references, and he told me, like, look, my wife is working in KPF New York, so maybe it's easier to contact them through her. So that was the main connection.
That's awesome. So because I remember, actually, now that you're saying that, Handel Architects here in New York, they didn't want you to go. I think that we were trying to find options for you, like the different visas, right? But you were already out of the gap of that year or something like that. Cap, sorry. And so you were not, you didn't have the chance to, I see. And how long was your experience in London? How would you actually compare? I also worked in London, so I'm personally very interested in in knowing what you have to say about the differences of these incredible cities, both metropolitan and very cosmopolite.
I think actually London was the perfect place to transit from New York to Europe, because even it's like a good mix between Europe and United States in terms that it's very cosmopolitan and
the pace
it's
is a
very
little
international.
bit. The pace is a little bit more chill, I would say. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, nothing like
Yeah,
New
I
York,
think
obviously.
it's
Yeah.
it's chiller, and yeah, probably they have better balance, like work-life balance. So I really enjoy the city, and I really love London.
And what do
I'm
you
working there.
what do you think that has been the key for your success in getting the opportunity on such a big names and you know, prestigious firms? What would you say, you know, is been the difference, the extra value that you could?
What do you, I don't probably work very hard. Be quite confident in what you believe. Because when I remember when I was doing the interview, I was really excited because they asked me about my portfolio and my projects and everything, all my work, and I got really excited, and it was very genuine in that sense. Like probably they got it from there that I really wanted to work, but I also liked the place or the profession I decided to follow. So
Well,
sorry if I answer your question.
No, yes. I mean, the energy that you transmit in an interview, it makes a whole difference. Like, I know it's pretty obvious to sound very excited about the job, but not everyone really communicate that. So you have to, when you're getting ready for an interview, it's not only about the technical part of the preparation for the interview, that's obviously important, but you have to have also the mindset. Like almost not like if you were an actress, but I mean, just to show the best of you, like, you know, authenticity, sorry, is always, you know, very valuable. If they see that, you know, you're gonna play a role in a team, that, you know, that you can actually inspire some other people, that's always, you know, that's a difference between someone that might be super proficient with Rhino, whatever, but they're very, I don't know, what will be the word? Dull? I don't know. So, and do you experience any differences between the way interviews went in terms of UK style, US style, or New York style, or it was you didn't?
I thought they were similar. It's true that KPF is an American office, so in some sense it's
that's
an
true.
American.
Well, that's true. It's an American branch. Okay, and so if you could go back to the past, what will be the error that you think that you have committed at some point that you will try to avoid to happen again?
In what sense?
Well, this is your time. You are the rock star here.
So, well, I think I did the best I could. In terms of coming back, I've always thought that if the decision of coming back to US was right or not. When I had the time to do it, it was a very, very hard decision to make.
You mean when you were in London, or the first time? Sorry, I got lost.
No, when I was in London and I decided to come back here.
Again, okay, yeah.
So probably I will always go back to that moment in my life, because it was very dramatic in terms of deciding what would you be probably in the next 5 years. I don't think coming back it was a mistake, but sometimes in the back of my mind, I thought that it would be.
That maybe you should have stayed, you mean?
Yeah, sometimes I think about what would have been my life if I would continue in London.
Hold on. Yeah, no, I hear.
So,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Sorry, yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry, it's just that my headphones died.
yeah.
Also, I wish to have stayed in a company longer than 1 year because for one reason or the other, I couldn't continue fully in one company for more than 1 year. The first one was with J1, and then I was 1 year in London, so I decided to move back here, and I've stayed another year in Handel, but it still is like a split in time, so that's still is like
probably year right.
But do you think that has been like that somehow has jeopardized your career?
I don't know. I think it's a good thing because the more places you see, the more different points of view you have. And actually, I learned a lot from moving from one place to the other. Even
you're a survivor. You are a real survivor. I mean, sorry?
Sorry, it was cut off, and I didn't hear that.
I was saying that you are a survivor. Have lived in. I always say that when I left New York, I'm like, I'm a superwoman now. You know, they can drop me anywhere in the world that will survive. If you survive to New York, you can live anywhere. It's like in the song. And London is different, but it can be hard too. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And so has there been any moment in the career that you have thought, okay, this is not for me? I thought architecture was going to be my way of living, but actually, no, it's not good for me.
Well, sometimes I thought about it, but
give us an example. In what situation have you thought of that? It's just, I'm trying to showcase also, how you fluctuate as a person related to your profession, and what could let you feel that way at some point.
Well, when things don't go right, you think that your decisions are not right. So when I had to go back to Europe the first time with the J1, I felt that I should have done something else that could be easier in order to get a job. But
you mean instead of done the J1 visa, have got?
I mean afterwards, because now you have seen yourself in New York and working for a big company, and you see yourself that all your dreams cannot be farther. So what do I do now that I come back? I reach like the point.
Yeah, but the good story, or the beautiful thing about all this is that you were able to find the door that led you to come back and continue those dreams and those plans and projects. Because how long have you been in New York since you were back from London?
1 year and a half.
Oh, I thought it was a little bit more. Okay, I would like to ask the people that are here with us, I don't know if anyone has any questions or would like to, make the most of having Paula here and myself, and launch any question about, your concerns. Actually, you just type it and I'll try to look at it. We are in so many platforms, so I'll try to have a look at all of them. But is there anything that you would recommend to those who are, stop because of the situation, willing to, because your career has been somehow always international, right? You have been, for one reason or the other, study abroad, did this internship somewhere else, then move to the US, the UK. I think that you have never worked in Madrid, right? Or in Spain? Or you did?
Yeah, I worked
very short 3 months or so in a small studio in Madrid.
So yeah, I
So
could
yeah, I
do
got
that.
a little bit of experience. But
Still, I feel like I haven't really worked in Madrid or Spain.
Madrid or Spain.
Yeah. So what would you recommend to all those that were thinking to make the move and try to start a professional career, you know, internationally, that, you know, the plans, I guess, got cut off? Is there anything that you would recommend?
For people that willing
to come
or
here.
people
To here or to another country, you know?
I don't hear you very well.
Yes, I would recommend to not, like I said before, don't lose faith and keep trying and open all the doors that you can open everywhere and in every situation, because that could lead you where you really want, even if you don't know where you want to be. So, I mean, as I said before, this is also an opportunity to keep improving yourself. Also, I always think that even if you don't find something, you should take that time to improve yourself and improve your employability, like in your
skills and learning a new software or getting more proficient. That's something that you are interested in go deeper. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, getting
like
stop. Yes. We have a question here from Richard. He's saying, are many employers offering the chance to work from home until we can go to the US? That's a good question. Well, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Paula. I don't know if the question is more for the program or for Paula. Do you know from your experience right now that you have been, you know, looking for a job in New York? Did you find many offices that were offering a remote work position, or that was not something specified?
I found some employers that they were offering working from home because they are not even working in the office right now. So there's no way to hire some people if they don't accept that you might work from home. I'm actually with this job working remotely, so that wouldn't be possible.
Did you have to come in to interview, or
no? It was an online interview, and all the interviews I had
were Well, that is one of the good things about this situation. Like, as you know, we offer to all our pool of talents and our Job Plus J1 visa program participants the opportunity to interview, you know, through a conference call. But not every company was, you know, we were surprised when we came across with a large company that was saying, no, but, you know, we really want to interview the person face to face. And I think that this has changed. This is, you know, a new paradigm. Like, it has changed completely the way of understanding how, you know, needs have to be managed, how the networking is going to be happening from now on, and also, you know, interviews. And so I think that has something that is going to stay beyond COVID. But in terms of, if I can say something else to Richard, if this helps, the issue with the companies that are open to employ remote workers, I think that at the back of the head is to bring them into the office as soon as they open up, right? So meaning that I'm sure that they ask you about your visa status, like, okay, good, now you can work from home, but what about, you know, staying here?
No, of course, in all the interviews, they ask me about my status in the US, and they are asking me more and more. Like,
and that's a challenge. I'm just saying this because I don't know if Richard is part of our community now or no, but in general, for everyone who's watching, we have got many requests from companies about, yeah, remote workers, remote architects, but then at some point they kind of lose the strength of the request, because they come to a point where we have to discuss, you know, the next step once they're back in the office, and then we go to always visas and immigration. And unfortunately, due to the recent Trump's proclamation, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but he banned most of the work visas, well, including H1B. I mean, you were lucky because you already had it, but yeah, it's been very tough for all those who were in the middle of the process of trying to get a job. So we're gonna try to keep doing this interview series with different stories, different experiences, to keep you guys keep going, to chin up. I mean, this is not gonna be the end of our profession, that's for sure. New ways of collaborating will appear, new opportunities will also, just so you know, we have some participants that at some point leave the US because the situation was not good, and their employers offer them the opportunity to keep collaborating even though they have left supposedly for good. So well, I'm trying to say that probably that in January was almost impossible to think, like, okay, your visa is expired, sorry, bye, see you, you know. And now we are expanding again our horizons and the way of, which I think it was kind of the right moment to happen. I mean, why we cannot work, you know, on network, right? And what is the difference from you right now? I don't know if you're based in Manhattan or Brooklyn, whatever. If you were based in France, you know, those protocols are what we have to study and put in place. And I really think that is happening. And we are in a transition moment, but all that will flourish and will, you know, make the opportunities again. Let me see if somebody else asked a question. Many highs, many love, many, but I don't think that anyone placed any other question. I don't know, Paula. Paula again. Paula. Sorry.
It's fine. I got used to it. So.
I don't know why. It's like when I say my name, I sometimes I hear myself saying Patricia. It's like, why are you saying it that way? It's just that I try to make people's life easier because they get nervous. I don't know if it happens to you when they don't know how to pronounce it. They really try and they say it in a very weird way. So I pretend that I say the way they would say it. Anyway, so I was gonna thank you so much for this time. I'm sure that there are gonna be questions that we'll come up with afterwards, but if that's the case, and if you guys have any questions, please, we're gonna share this on our Instagram. You will have it saved in the stories, I think, or somewhere. I'm not very technical, but somebody will help me with this. And probably we'll share it in the YouTube, or I don't know. So it will be always there. You can watch it again and, you know, leave comments that we can answer later on. And even, I don't know if, Paula, are you reachable somewhere if someone wants to work with you in, I don't know, 2 years time, because there's this competition. Where can we find you? Because we know that you move a lot. So where can we find you?
Email is the shortest one. Email or phone, it's fine.
I mean, LinkedIn, right? I guess any professional network will be good.
Sorry?
On LinkedIn could be.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, LinkedIn,
Okay.
Facebook.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. My headphones died, the battery, and so if I left my phone, I think that you cannot hear me properly. So now I'm not that still anymore. But anyway, so is there anything else that you would like to add for all those that are watching and listening? Paula?
Sorry?
No, I was saying if there's anything else that you would like to recommend. I mean, I think that you already give some good tips, but how do you actually see the future of our profession? Do you think it's going to be a major change? Things will go back to similar?
Things are changing in some way. Like here in England, we couldn't expect any terraces around, and things are changing now that the indoor dining are still not going to happen until next week or so. So you see, like, cities are changing somehow because of this situation. So I think architects always find a way of taking those opportunities for a good reason, like change cities to be more sustainable and have more outdoor spaces and take more space for the pedestrians and so on. So I think in that sense, it can change for better. So
I really like that. I think that we can close this session encouraging everyone to think of different ways to change the culture of opportunities in our profession, and to definitely keep fighting, keep battling for the dreams. If the dream is in the local boutique studio next door, go for it and get the job there. If your dream is if your dream is to try to work in San Francisco, in Hong Kong, I don't know. Eventually, if you really work hard to make it happen, it will happen. So thank you so much, Paula, again, for being so inspiring and for sharing your experience with us. Yeah, I will talk to you very soon, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Say bye. Hi. Bye. Bye. Bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye. Bye. See you.
Paula?